Hi, this is the Oxford and Cambridge project, the podcast that aims to make Oxbridge accessible by lifting the veil on the secrets of two of the most prestigious universities in the world. I'm Opportune Simon.
I'm Dani Cai.
And I'm Kleopatra Kyprianou. We all come from different walks of life, having grown up in different parts of the world with very diverse backgrounds, but found our way to each other during our time at the University of Cambridge, and we have been best friends ever since.
Yeah, guys, I'm really excited to be here with my two besties filming the first episode of the Oxford and Cambridge project.
Yes! So, this is fun. This is going to be
We've been planning this for a while.
Yes, this has come in the works. And yeah, what is this podcast? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, so I guess one of the reasons that we're doing this is because getting into Oxford and Cambridge can be a really daunting task. And I think that for some people, their schools are set up in such a way that the main aim for their teachers is to get as many students as possible into Oxford or Cambridge. But that's really only the minority, and for the vast majority of students, this seems almost unachievable. And they don't have the resources, they don't have the information, and that can all be really discouraging. And what we essentially want to do is lift the veil on all of that and massively improve the information flow to our listeners out there who can hopefully use that information and feel like going to Oxford and Cambridge is something that they can achieve. And, you know, with hard work and the information that hopefully we can provide them, it seems a lot more doable.
Yeah, and even then, if you manage to go through the whole process and get into Cambridge, it still can be so daunting to actually be there and just not understand what's going on in the term, in the whole year, and just there's so much, like so much lingo, so many traditions. There's just different. And you would only know maybe if your family's been going to Oxbridge for generations, but not necessarily if you're the first one to ever go there in your network. So yeah, we just really want to, I guess, democratize that information, spread it out there, make it more available.
Yeah. So I guess in my case, I was the first person in my family to even apply to university. So as soon as I started the application process, I had to choose what college to go to, which I didn't really understand. And there were so many different options. And then you have to choose your tripos. You have to write a personal statement. There's just so many little decisions you have to make that are actually massive for your life. And I didn't really have a place where I could go or someone to speak to fully explain what the importance and of everything was, and what it all meant really, and to help me get through that. So I think by speaking to old students or current students at these two universities, it can really help you understand the fuller experience of Cambridge and Oxford, and how you might be able to get in, and how to achieve to the best of your ability when you're actually there.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Cambridge, right? And so I thought that I knew everything about the city, and I knew just everything about that tiny town, like the back of my hand. But actually, when I got in, it was completely different to the Cambridge that I grew up and the Cambridge that I knew. And so I think that speaks volumes, like the fact that I grew up there, and still when I went, it seemed like, it's just a whole new world that's basically been unlocked for me. So I can only imagine what it was like for you guys who had never even been to Cambridge before, and then were just thrown into this ridiculous Harry Potter-esque world.
Yeah, I guess would it be fair to say, I've always thought in my head that if you were a townie and just living there, but not going to the university, I always imagine that you miss out on 50% of the city. Do you agree? Yeah,
definitely. I guess there is that split between townies and gownies for a reason. Townies being kind of a derogatory term that gownies, the students, use against the people who grew up in Cambridge versus the people who go to the Cambridge University. So, there is definitely a big difference in the lives between townies and gownies, but, it's the overlap that makes us all Canterburyans.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for that, Dani. Yeah, I guess it's different actually being in Cambridge and studying there and finding everything out about its little secrets. And
yeah, just being able to walk through a college to like cross the town, whereas if I guess you can't because you're not a student, you have to like go all the way around, and I guess like yeah, it's just
Oh yeah, that King's College shortcut.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
So valuable.
yeah, I guess when you get to Cambridge, you're just bombarded with all this new information and so many new things you have to learn, how to find your way around places, and how to study, and what are supervisions, and what are the different stereotypes about the different colleges.
There is just so much info that we need to go through and explain to you guys in a very like clear and concise manner. But yes.
Yeah, I guess what we're trying to do here is through the experience of actual students at these universities, is to provide this information for anybody who's interested in listening. If you're planning to apply, if you're going into your first year or whatever year you're studying, or even if you just want to find out about these two universities, given there's so much mystique surrounding them.
Yeah.
And if you are going into your first year, and if you do feel incredibly lost, just know that it's so normal. Like, I feel like the three of us were hot messes in our first year.
So lost, yeah.
So hopefully this information will help you feel a bit less lost.
And also, if you are actually feeling that lost, you can also message us, and we'll be there. We'll be there to give you the tips that you need. But yeah, and so if you haven't already guessed it, season 1 is going to be about Cambridge solely. We're going to focus on this university first because obviously we have been there, but we are planning to also have season 2 on Oxford and just deep dive on that university with people who have been there and people who are there currently and who can give us tips on that, because it's like same but different. Like they're very similar to the eyes of like the beholder. If you're there and if you're living and studying there are some differences that are important to note.
Yeah, and given you can only apply to one of these universities, at least for undergrad.
Yes,
Yeah.
such a weird tradition.
So, yeah.
It's good to have the full picture for both of these. And obviously, it's not just going to be the three of us speaking for 20 episodes or whatever, but we'll have guests on the podcast to explain to us their experience of the college they go to and of their subject. So
We want you, Malala Yousafzai.
We all went to Murray Edwards College, by the way. That's how we became besties.
yeah, it's an all-girls college.
Hell yeah.
Everybody gets pulled there.
Power.
We'll talk about what being pulled at a college means later.
And we'll talk about Murray Edwards, and we'll talk about everything. Don't you worry. This is just the beginning.